All right, let's dive into something truly fascinating today. We're talking about what goes on inside your head, specifically how your brain makes decisions, especially when the pressure's really on in, real-world settings. We're going to unpack a really interesting study. It's called The Human Brain in Decision-Making Processes in Hospital Administrative and Financial Units. Neural mechanisms, theta activity, and awareness. Quite a mouthful.
Yeah, it is, but the core idea is pretty exciting. This deep dive, it really aims to uncover the brain stuff behind both your quick gut feelings, those intuitive choices, and also your more careful step-by-step thinking. And what's really intriguing is whether you're even aware which type of thinking you're actually using at any given moment. And this is super critical in places like hospitals. I mean, think about administrative or financial units. Errors there can have massive consequences. Efficiency, money, even patient care indirectly.
Okay, so the big question the study tackled was, can we actually see these different ways of thinking happening? Like in the brain itself, it builds on this idea, this dual process theory, right? Basically that we have two main systems for thinking.
Exactly, sometimes called System 1 and System 2. System 1 is the fast, automatic, intuitive one. System 2 is your slower, more deliberate, analytical thinking.
Right. So how did they look for this in the brain?
Well, that's where it gets technical, but really interesting. They focused on a specific type of brainwave theta activity. It's in the 4 to 7 hertz range, and it tends to pop up when we're using memory, paying attention, or exerting, cognitive control.
So they tracked this theta activity.
They did. They looked at 56 people working in hospital admin and finance roles, and they watched their brain activity using EEG while they did a couple of tasks.
Okay, what kind of tasks?
One was a lexical decision task, basically deciding quickly if a string of letters was a real word related to hospital admin or just nonsense. That was meant to trigger the fast System 1 thinking.
Uh-huh. Quick judgments.
Exactly. And the other task, that involved looking at more complex, sort of real-world documents that required careful analysis. That was designed to engage the slower System 2.
And did they see a difference in the brain waves?
Oh yeah, definitely. They found some really clear distinctions. When people were doing the rational thinking, analyzing those complex documents, there was a big jump in theta activity right at the front of the brain, specifically in areas labeled F7 and F8. That's your prefrontal cortex territory, the brain's sort of executive control center.
Right, the planning and reasoning part.
Precisely. So that strongly supports the idea that our controlled, deliberate thinking really relies on that frontal region lighting up.
Okay, but here's what I think is really cool. What about the intuitive side, the gut feelings?
That's where it got even more specific. For those intuitive decisions, like the fast word judgments, they saw different areas increase in theta activity. This time, it was in the temporal regions.
Temporal, so like nearer the sides of the head.
Around T7 and T8, closer to your temples. These areas are heavily involved in memory, sensory integration, processing meaning. It suggests that when you make those quick calls, your brain is rapidly pulling on stored knowledge and sensory cues.
Wow, so the brain literally uses different circuits depending on whether you're thinking fast or slow.
That's the picture that emerges. It's not just one process. It's these two systems with distinct neural signatures. And, maybe unsurprisingly, the study also confirmed the rational decisions consistently took longer. Slow thinking is, well, it's slow.
Okay, so what does this mean for us, practically speaking, beyond just being interesting brain science?
Well, one of the perhaps most surprising findings was about awareness. People's own reports of whether they thought they were being rational or intuitive didn't always match up with what their brain activity showed.
Really? So you might think you're carefully weighing everything.
But your brain might actually be leaning heavily on that faster temporal lobe activity, that sort of gut feeling,
Right.
without you fully realizing it.
That's huge. If we're not even aware of how we're deciding, how can we, get better at it, especially in jobs where good decisions are vital?
That's the key question, isn't it? And it points towards some really exciting possibilities.
Yeah.
The research suggests we could potentially use techniques like EEG-based training, think neurofeedback. You could, theoretically, train people to boost that frontal theta activity, their rational thinking signature, when they're tackling complex problems.
So like literally training your brain to be more analytical when needed.
Kind of, yeah. Imagine specific training programs for, say, hospital admin or finance staff. helping them engage those deliberative pathways more effectively to reduce errors and make better calls.
That could really improve efficiency and cut down on costly mistakes in really critical areas. This deep dive really shows then that decision-making isn't just some abstract mental thing. It has these clear, measurable signals in the brain. And understanding that, well, it helps us become more self-aware, sure, but it could also lead to some amazing tools for actually improving how we make choices, especially when the stakes are high.
Absolutely. So maybe the next time you're facing a decision, whether it's a quick judgment call or something you need to mull over, just pause for a second. Think about it. How might your brain be lighting up right now? Is it the fast track or the slow road? And what does that tell you about the incredible, complex machinery inside your own head?